sorting values. How do you sort some values? Let's say you have a table, you know, you have marks of students, and you want to first see in the first two, you want to see the marks of, I mean, the highest marks. Then you might want to see second highest, third highest, in that order. So you should, in that case, use order by. Here in my example, you'll say order by marks. Marks would be the name of the column. So you simply select all the rows from table name and you order by this column. And one thing you should know is that by default, it orders by the ascending in the ascending order. If you want to order them in descending order, in my example, I'm talking about the highest marks first, then the second highest, then the third highest. So I want to use, I want to see them in a descending order. That is why I will use DESC here, right? DESC is a short for descending. And you can also mention ASC here for ascending, but that is understood. By default, it returns in ascending order only. This I think everyone can easily understand. This was sorting values. Then we have other, other queries. If there are any questions till now, please feel free to ask, or any discussion you want me to, participate in, any kind of thing. All right. So this was sorting values. Then we have unique values. Suppose we just want to see the unique values. Let's say about 100 students got 20 marks, and 50 students got 25 marks. Then 30 students got 26 marks. 40 students got 27, and there's a whole lot of repetition going on, right? More than one more than one person has gotten the same marks, and you just want to see that what is the distribution of marks, right? Is there anyone who has gotten 42 marks, let's say? Is there anyone who has gotten 23 marks? So even if there's one person, you just want to know that has anyone got this number, right? In that case, you'll select distinct. You'll just return distinct marks. You'll just select the distinct values. What does this do? This returns every unique value from from column one. That is unique values. All right. Now the next one is correct keyword order. If you notice here, right, select is always used first. After that, we use from. If we want to filter it further, we need to use where. Then we'll use limit. There's a particular order that we follow always. That is the select, from, where. Order by is before limit, always used before limit. That is the correct keyword order. Now this keyword order gets updated when you learn more about SQL. Let me show you the second part. So in this case, right, after some time you will be learning joins also. Then you'll be learning a new query called group by and having query. So again, I'll again talk about the keyword order. The basic order remains the same. Select comes first, then comes from, then where, then order by, then limit, right? That order will remain the same. But the newer functions that you will learn, like join and group by, you'll understand that there's a specific position that we need to put these functions in, right? That specific position you need to know, and you will get better at it with practice. So you don't need to learn this order specifically. You will get to learn this with practice. Then we have SQL functions for aggregation. Let's say I want to sum all of the values together. I want to find the total, or let's say I think this is a very common example. Suppose we want to find the average marks of the students in your database. I cannot draw here, otherwise I would have drawn the table. But essentially, there can be this table wherein you have students name and marks of students, all of that, and you want to find the average. In that case, you will use this aggregate function called AVG. Suppose you want to count the total number of values, or you want to sum the values, or you want to find the minimum value or maximum value. That is where we talk about aggregate functions. These are the five most important aggregate functions. Let's see some examples. So select count star, which means that I want to just get the number of all the rows in my table, right? Count star calculates the number of rows. How many rows do I have in my table? That is select count star from table name, and this is some kind of filter where column one is equal to something. Similarly, I want to find the average of this column. This column can be the marks column as well, right? From table name, where this column 2 is this. This is again a filter, basic filter. Um, this I think makes sense. It will just return the column in which the value is greater than 1000, right? Then we have group by. Now this is, I think, probably the most important function in SQL. Suppose you want to group by the name of the student, right? Or let's say you want to group by the marks, and you want to find that how many students have gotten 42 marks. So you will be grouping by the marks of the student. So how many students have gotten 42 marks? It will display the count of those students. It's a uh, count marks from table name group by marks. So this helps you to group by some value. And I think pivot table works in a similar way. So you can use the group by clause. And this is always used with the aggregate function, with an aggregate function like count, sum, min, max. Because let's say you want to find the total number of people who got X amount of who got X marks. Let's say total number of people who got 43 marks, let's say. So um, let's say 21 people got 43 marks, and you want to group by similarly you want to group for other values of marks. So how many people have gotten 20 marks, 21 marks, 23 marks, all of that. So that is where we can use the group by clause. This is again a very simple query. Select the column name, and I'm selecting two things here. I'm returning two things. One is the entire column one. This can be the marks of the student, and this is the count of the people who have gotten that much marks. From table name group by, and again I'll talk about marks. I'll say group by marks of student. Similarly, there are other examples. So this, what does this query do? This counts the number of values in column 2 for each group of unique column 1 values. Let's say I want to find how many Ashwins are there in the database. Let's say I have a huge database. There are many people from similar, many people have similar names or same first name. So that is that is an example where this can be used. So that was the group by clause. Then we have aliases. Now this is easy. This basically, just renames your value. Let's say I'm returning this entire column one. This can be name of the student, and then I'm counting the total values, total number of students who have gotten this much marks. Let's say, this is counting the values, and this count column two. I'm just renaming this as number of values, right? So next time when I use this, or when I want to return this separately, I'll just write number of values. So this is doing nothing. This is just doing this is renaming the count. This is just renaming this value, right? From table name group by column one, this remains the same. So this renames the count column two. This column count column two will again form a column, right? So it will rename this column to number of values. That is a very simple thing, SQL aliases. Now, joins is the single most important concept in SQL. If there's a question on SQL in interviews, it will most likely be around joins. And since there's not much time left, I'll cover joins in the next session. And before I end the session, there are a few things. So one is that for joins, you can maybe, this PDF won't be sufficient. You will just go through, this is a very basic syntax for joins. We are not the PDF has not talked about the types of joins. So for that, we will study the types of joins from my PDF. I mean from my PPT only. I think you can see my screen, right? So here, these are the list of topics to be studied, and you can, some of these are not covered in the PDF. I mean, 2 out of 20 might not be covered. Most of them are covered in the PDF. So you might want to learn them yourself. And for joins, this is very important for interviews. There are 4 types of joins. We'll be discussing these types of joins in our next session. And we'll be talking about each join in detail. These are some pictures to help you understand the joins in SQL. And yeah, so this is the cheat sheet I was looking at. I was teaching you from this cheat sheet only. This is by 365 Data Science. They've made this an open source kind of a cheat sheet, right? Um, right. I think this makes sense. If there's any question, please feel free to let me know.